Strip away the romance of Spanish tiki-taka and the myth of beautiful, flowing football. What you and I are about to witness in this semi-final clash between France and Spain is not an exhibition of artistic grace. It is a cold, calculated, and brutal war of athletic profiling. We are stripping down the tactics to the bare metal, looking at raw speed, physical durability, and tactical exploitation. It is a high-stakes chess match, played at a violent, breakneck pace, where the weak are targeted and systematically destroyed. This is about physical dominance, spatial control, and isolating the opposition's fatal flaw until they break. Forget the aesthetics. This is a pure survival of the fittest in the modern game. 9.5 out of 10 mainstream experts will confidently tell you that France has looked like the most secure, bulletproof machine in this tournament. Watching their midfield bypass high presses is like watching master escape artists work in slow motion, calmly sliding through tight spaces without breaking a sweat. But if you look closer at the tactical blueprints, there is a massive, pulsing red target painted directly on their defensive flanks. Their fullbacks are the structural vulnerability just waiting to be exploited. While their central engine room hums with effortless efficiency, their wider defensive channels are completely exposed, leaving a glaring, fatal weakness that a sharp opponent can slice wide open. Spain is designing a brutal isolation play, specifically to trap Digne, intending to strand him on an absolute island against the terrifying, unpredictable genius of Lamine Yamal. We are talking about 0 double teams, 0 safety nets, and absolutely no tactical cover. Just 90 minutes of pure, unadulterated one-on-one psychological warfare. But before Spanish supporters start planning their victory parades, they need to realize that Didier Deschamps has drawn up a savage counter-strategy. France is preparing to unleash a relentless speed torture chamber on Spain's backline, a 90-minute athletic assault that will test the absolute physical limits of their defenders. Let us step inside the tactical war room and dissect exactly why someone is getting brutally exposed on this pitch tonight. You and I are going to look past the media hype and examine the raw numbers, the spatial mapping, and the physical matchups that make this game an inevitable tactical execution. This is not just about who plays better football on the night. It is about which manager can successfully isolate the other side's fatal flaw first. When you pit an unstoppable individual prodigy against an entire collective of Olympic-level track athletes, something has to give. And the structural collapse is going to be spectacular to watch. Let us dive straight into the single most lopsided and critical mismatch of this entire semi-final fixture. The direct, unforgiving battle between Lamine Yamal and Digne. On one side, you have Spain's teenage prodigy, a player who manipulates space and changes direction with a terrifying, natural ease that defies belief. On the other side, you have Digne, a solid, veteran professional who is about to find himself cast as the primary victim in a high-speed tactical horror film. This matchup is not just a subplot of the match. It is the focal point where Spain hopes to systematically dismantle the French defensive structure. When Belgium faced Spain, their tactical approach was highly disciplined and pragmatic. They executed a relentless 2-on-1 double team on Yamal, suffocating his breathing room, cutting off his passing lanes, and visibly frustrating the young winger. But France? France possesses far too much footballing pride to sink into a low block like Belgium. Les Bleus want to dictate the tempo, they want to press high up the pitch, and they want to dominate possession. That heavy offensive ambition comes with a steep price because it leaves their backline completely unprotected and begging to be hit on the break. If Didier Deschamps leaves Digne completely isolated in a one-on-one duel with Yamal, it is absolute lights out. Frankly, the only left-back on the face of the earth who possesses the genetic freakishness to consistently match Yamal's explosiveness right now is Portugal's Nuno Mendes. Digne simply does not have that elite level of recovery speed to salvage a missed tackle. If Spain's central midfielders can dictate the tempo and rapidly feed Yamal in transitional moments, France's left flank is going to be set ablaze, turning a tactical gap into a smoking, ruined crater of defensive failure. Yet there is an equally terrifying flip side to this tactical coin. Inside the French locker room, the mood is not one of fear, but of predatory confidence. They are looking directly at this Spanish squad and whispering a simple, brutal reality. We do not care about your teenage prodigy, Yamal, because your own defense is a ticking time bomb waiting for us to press the detonator. France knows that while Spain might hold the ball and look pretty, their defensive line is fragile, lacking the raw physical profile required to withstand a sustained, high-intensity athletic assault for 90 minutes. Spain sailed into the quarterfinals boasting a pristine defensive record with 0 goals conceded, but Belgium eventually exposed the structural flaws and cracked their code. Tonight, the Spanish central defensive partnership of Aymeric Laporte and young Pau Cubarsi is about to face an absolute Avengers-level physical threat. They are no longer dealing with patient buildups or predictable movements. They are staring down a storm of relentless, dynamic athleticism that is specifically designed to overwhelm and humiliate any defender who lacks elite, top-end physical recovery tools. Let us be completely realistic about Pau Cubarsi for a second. The kid is immensely talented with the ball at his feet, but he looked entirely out of his depth and physically overwhelmed trying to handle Charles de Ketelaire's aerial threat in the Belgium match. If a standard physical forward like de Ketelaere can bully you in the air and drag you out of position, what on earth do you think is going to happen when Kylian Mbappe, Ousmane Dembele, and Michael Olise start charging directly at your face at 22 miles per hour? It is going to be an absolute speed torture chamber of the highest order. Aymeric Laporte is clearly operating well past his athletic prime, while young Cubarsi is still trying to find his footing in his very first major international tournament. When you combine those two liabilities, they are destined to get absolutely suffocated by the terrifying combination of sheer velocity and raw physical power boasting from France's front four. The French attack does not gently ask for permission. They drag you into deep water and force you to sprint until your lungs burn, exposing every millisecond of hesitation or lack of recovery speed in your defensive line. Spain might have historical statistics on their side, having dominated France in their most recent head-to-head encounters, but this current French attacking unit is an entirely different breed of beast. They do not mind letting Spain pass the ball sideways in midfield. Instead, they will calmly absorb that high-volume Spanish pressure, wait for the perfect moment of transition, isolate the inexperienced young Cubarsi in space, and deliver a series of lethal, high-velocity punishments on the counterattack that Spain's backline simply cannot track. So where does all this leave us? Here is my cold, tactical prediction for this heavyweight battle. You and I can expect Spain to strike first and get on the scoreboard early, likely through another moment of pure genius from Lamine Yamal exploiting Digne's flank. However, France's relentless physical firepower and terrifying transition speed will ultimately prove far too overwhelming to contain over 90 minutes. France will systematically tear Spain's defense apart on the break, securing a commanding 3-1 victory and marching proudly into the tournament final. Now, the ultimate question falls to you. Are you riding with the magical, space-manipulating wonder kid Lamine Yamal? Or are you putting your money on Kylian Mbappe's elite Olympic track team to run Spain off the pitch? Let me know your exact tactical predictions down in the comments section below. Make sure to hit that subscribe button so you do not miss our post-match deep dive and analysis. I will see all of you in the war room right at kickoff. Enjoy the battle and take care.